Hello friends, Tanya here, back with another video. This time I am using a stamp set sent to me by the Spellbinders company. It is the Glorious Mermaid stamp set by Jane Davenport. Absolutely gorgeous stamp set. Features a beautiful wave and a beautiful mermaid. So I'm going to start this out by creating my watery background for her, and we're going to do some distress ink blending. I used Mermaid Lagoon and peacock feathers and a little bit of the new distress oxide color, speckled eggs. Speckled egg? Yes. Just going to blend those together quickly and spritz them with the pearlized water, which is my go-to for ink blending, etc., and adding a little sparkle. And you can see the speckles that I got from the water in that, and I adore that. I took the Water Waves stamp, and I laid it across the panel to make sure it would fit. And this panel was cut from the Essential Rectangles die set, and it is a 4 by 5¼ inch panel. I'm using my freshly re-inked VersaMark ink pad, creating those waves all the way up the panel. And then I'm going to take the Sparkling Sea embossing powder from Hero Arts. It is not a fine powder, it's a thick powder, or a chunky powder that has some lovely blue glitter in it. You can't really tell that until you sprinkle it on. And now we're going to heat and set that quick. Get that all melted and thick and shiny. And you can see a little bit of that glitter in there. It's gorgeous. I love it, especially for anything water. So we're now going to stamp the mermaid in Hero Arts Intense Black ink on some Copic friendly paper. This happens to be an 80-pound, I think, Nina Solar White. And I'm using my Copic markers to color this in. And I did leave the coloring in. This can be a little intimidating because the tail is so long, unless you wanted to just go with one color. Her hair is super easy to color. I'm going with some pinks here, and we're going to go with kind of a rainbow progression through her tail. This is RV21 and RV17, I believe, that I'm using for her hair, and we're going to use that in her clothes and in her scales also. Just adding that. This is going to transition from the RV21 to the RV17, and then we are going to move on to V17, I believe, and add that to her tail. I really love this stamp set. Now, the only thing that would have been better is if it came with its own die, but that's okay. Can't have dies for everything as much as I would like. I do take both ends off of my Copic marker here, and this is a B05, because when I pulled one end off, it's sprinkled a little bit of marker juice onto the paper, and I didn't want to ruin my project with a burp of color while I was Copic coloring. That can happen when there is an unequal pressure between the marker ends, or the marker and the environment. So if you take both ends off, you won't have that burping problem. You don't have to keep doing it every time. Once it's been uncapped on both ends, you can move on. So we progressed from the light pink to the purple to the blue, and then we transitioned back to the purple, from blue, purple, and into the pinks. And the tail, I'm not going to blend this. I'm not going to go back and soften the edges of the blend. I like how it is so pronounced. And we do the same progression from light pink, magenta, purple, blue. And I realize that in the rainbow, purple follows blue, but it works in this sensation. Think of it, or sensation. Instance, there we go, that's the word. And I wanted to keep this very fantasy-like, so she is going to have bluish, greenish skin. So I'm using B G10, and I was going to add highlights with a darker blue. However, I had gotten a little bit of this light pink, the RV21, on the small of her back, and when I was coloring in with the blue, I noticed that it created a great shading effect. So that's what we're going to use for our shading, is the RV21 marker. And I just added that to a few spots underneath her hair, where her jawline would be, in the insides of her elbows, and on the bend of her wrist and the small of her back. It really didn't take very long to color this beautiful mermaid. And after I was done coloring her, I covered the entire image with a little bit of Wink of Stella, and then used a Sakura Jelly Roll Stardust pen in silver to add some highlights to her scales and into her hair, just because she's got to have extra sparkle. It's a mermaid. Of course she's going to have shimmer and shine. So coaster blank on the back of that panel that we created to add a little dimension and stability. And we're going to glue that to an A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I had taken some pieces of coaster blank and cut those behind the mermaid. I glued that down and added a sentiment from the Everyday Sentiment Glimmer foil plates. And I foiled it in, I think it's called Blush. It's a really light pink and it looks fantastic. I did have to peel her up and move her over just a smidge because I put her over too far. I love how that sentiment slips under the loop and the end of her tail to fit in. I am also adding these embellishments from my stash, which have little tiny stars, some seashells, and little flower cup sequins. And there she is, all done. This is going to be a birthday card for one of my daughter-in-laws who loves mermaids, and this is perfect for her. Her birthday happened to be the day before I created this, or excuse me, the day after I made this card. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Just click on the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you're notified every time I have a new creation. And if you are interested in any of the supplies I used, please click or check the description box below for a list of clickable links. Until next time, stay happy, healthy, and safe. Bye-bye now.